Hey everyone, I'm Maximus from Sofa Gamers and welcome to IVIEWs, a YouTube series where we interview gamers and YouTubers. Today's guest is Captain 2-Bit. 2-Bit, thank you so much for being here and accepting our invitation for IVIEWs.
Thank you so much for asking me.
Thank you. It's great to have you here. 2-Bit has his YouTube gaming channel running since 2 years now, is that right?
Yeah, it's about 2 years, but I've probably only in the last 6 months really kind of tried to update it regularly, be more kind of active on the channel. But yeah, it's been about 2 years.
And you are almost reaching the 200 subscribers mark. Congratulations for that.
Yeah, it's pretty mad.
That's pretty cool.
It's been. I didn't expect it. I thought I'd get maybe 30 or 40, and that'd be cool. But it's exciting. It's kind of nice to have that amount of subscribers. I've never dreamt of getting that many, ever, to be honest.
Oh, it's great.
It's tiny compared to some people, and people are like, "What, 200? Yeah, that's such a small number." But to me, it's like it's huge.
Big. Yeah,
massive.
I understand. I remember talking to you about vintage games a while ago, and it seems you've been a gamer since many years now. So tell us, when did it all start? When did you start playing video games?
I think we're roughly around the same age. I mean, I'm 36, so probably
the same.
yeah. So I remember my earliest kind of memories of video games was there was a guy in my school. He brought in like one of those handheld Nintendo, the flip kind of ones, like had Donkey Kong or something on it, on an LCD screen. And I remember just being like, wow, I want one of them. But he used to let me play it, but that was my earliest kind of memory. That was maybe 4 or 5, maybe 5, I'd say, probably 5. Then I kind of, my parents got my younger brother, who's 2 or 3 years younger than me. We were both quite into gaming, but they got him an Atari 2600. Wow. I mean, long after they were cool. Like, I mean, we were grateful, but it was definitely not. People were already playing NES and SNES at the stage, but we were playing 2600s in the late 80s, early 90s even. Yeah, and just remember playing a lot of Decathlon on that with him breaking lots of joysticks, going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right.
They were the ones you had to smash the button for them to run.
Yeah, I think we actually we were talking about the other day. Actually, he plays drums with me as well, and we were joking about it, saying how we actually broke 5 controllers in 1 week. And we brought them back to the shop.
That's a record.
We were like, what, we don't know, something's wrong with these. They're obviously a dud batch. And after the 5th one, it just went. That's literally all of that we have. Because it was a small shop in a small town in the middle of Ireland, and they were like, it sold electrical goods. It sold like washing machines, and in the back there was a tiny area for controllers and things. There was, video gaming wasn't that big a thing. But yeah, that's kind of my earliest memories, is the 2600 and handheld little LCD games that you'd get, those kind of games.
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, what I like to talk with people about this is because each one has his own story. So I really like the tiny details, like you were saying, like behind the laundry machines. It's very particular and it's amazing. It's really amazing. You talked about Donkey Kong. Was that the first video game you played, or there was another one?
I'd say probably was the first video game, but it was an LCD version of it. It was that little handheld. It wasn't. It looked like Donkey Kong, but it it is. It's like a micro version, like a watch game version of it almost.
Yeah, I remember those. I guess I have.
Yeah, they were fun. It was fun, but to be honest, my biggest memory of early video game would be Centipede or Decathlon or Midnight Magic was a pinball game. On the 2600, and my favorite point of that game was you leveled up or you beat a certain score, and then nothing changed, only the color of everything on the screen. That was to show you that you just leveled up. I was like, wow, I've got the purple now. It's gone purple.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's really cool. And arcade, did you go to those arcade places where they have all those machines?
With the arcade itself, arcades in where I was from was like a small town in the middle of Ireland, and there would have been a snooker hall that part of it had an arcade. And to be honest, we weren't really allowed to go there because my parents were. we went to the snooker hall with my dad every few Saturdays. We'd kind of play a game of snooker, and I'd be looking in at whatever game it was, because they always looked fantastic because they were amazing graphics. It looked like, how can it get better than this? you know.
Yeah,
and then, but the kind of people that were in there were the kind of people my parents would not have been wanting me to be hanging out with, like the guys who would be junking, you know, knocking off school just to go play video games. And it certainly wasn't, we weren't really allowed to play them. And, you know, I think even as a kid, I kind of thought the payoff of putting loads of, like, you know, if you had a certain amount of money, putting it into a machine and getting, maybe losing a life, and then that's your allowance for the week if you had any gone. So I kind of was like, no, I'll play my 2600, I'm happy, but look at those games, they look amazing.
Not the same,
I kind of, even then I was like, economically though, is it better to play at home? Yes, probably is. But
it's not so fun.
Yeah, they looked amazing, great looking games. But
I love to go to those places. They were really cool.
Yeah. You see, it depends on the town. I think there was definitely an association with people who weren't necessarily probably bad people, but you know, your parents would be like, you can't be hanging out there, they're just people who are going to be knocking off school, and it wasn't even like that, you know. You'd swear it was like that film with the vampires, what's the Kiefer Sutherland, what's the film? Yeah, that kind of thing. It wasn't like that at all. In reality, they were just young guys playing video games in a pool hall.
That's cool. I was asking about this because lately I see that there's a growing demand on retro gaming, with Nintendo and Sega launching their retro consoles. And as you are a fan of those vintage games, do you still play any of those today? Yeah,
I actually got one of the little NES last year. A friend of mine is kind of a regional manager for GameStop, and I just bumped into him. I hadn't seen him in a while. Yeah, and he just said to me, look, he was a shop near my home here, and I bumped into him and we were just talking. He said, have you got the NES, the micro mini one? And I was like, no, can't find one anywhere. And he said, look, there's one in the shop here. There's actually two. One's for the CEO of the company, and no one's allowed to use it. And there's another one he goes, I think it's left aside for me. But they were in a vault in the place. There was that much of demand. They were like, I spent about half an hour trying to explain to them that I was allowed to buy this. Because this is like a few days before Christmas, and I just gone and I played it, and it's very good. It's kind of like a memory, kind of a nostalgia thing.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, I was always more of a Mega Drive player. Some of my friends played SNES, and we used to, you know, it was kind of nice because if one of us had a SNES, the other had a Mega Drive, we'd play, you know, all the games. But we were certainly more Mega Drive gamers, you know. Yeah. I loved Nintendo, but I always felt that for me, Mega Drive was just a little bit more mature or something, you know. Yeah. More grown up, you know. But it wasn't really. It was all games.
So similar with my story actually, because I had a Mega Drive, and I had this best friend that he was always coming to my place. And he had a Super NES, so we kind of brought it along with him plenty of times. And I mean, we played both platforms, and it was really cool because it even at the time it really felt different.
Oh yeah, they're very different. Even the mechanics of the games were quite different. Even if it was the same game. I remember playing a lot of Mortal Kombat, and playing it on the SNES compared to the Mega Drive was completely different. Like, I mean, it felt different. I liked it more on the Mega Drive because I thought the button layout, the three buttons really suited better the way they were laid out for fighting games. But I mean, we're really just talking semantics of preference.
Sure. But it's cool.
Yeah, it was good.
I still have my Mega Drive. I guess I found it in my mother's place a few months ago. She told me.
That's good. I think mine was generally with me. It was my younger brother and myself. We shared them, and I think he was the one who got it for Christmas. But we both played it all the time, and it was a Mega Drive 2. It wasn't even like the original Mega Drive, because we were like, again, I think when we got the Mega Drive 2, everyone was kind of just about getting ready to play like CD Mega Drive or whatever, or definitely like almost PlayStation 1 era. But that's when I decided to get a job, and I was like, I'm going to get work in a petrol station and buy myself a PlayStation 1.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, with all those games that were before and all the history until we arriving where we are today, do you think you could make a top 5 in your gaming history, if that's even possible? What would be your choices?
I would say, I kind of, there's games that kind of have different relevance, I suppose. I'd say, if you're going to from the start, obviously, I think the Catalan would be one that would definitely have left a huge imprint, because it was a huge game for myself and my brother. We just used to spend hours destroying ourselves trying to get to the fastest, like 10,000 meters on that, going left right was. Whoa. We used to share it. We'd swap over after 500 meters, or 5,000 meters. Pretty much from that era, I suppose. Yeah, that and Centipede. Then I'd say from PlayStation 1 era, probably Formula 1 2000 or Formula 1 97 was a huge game for me, because I remember I actually went and bought a steering wheel for the first time, and then pedals.
That's amazing.
And it was really one of the most kind of immersive things, because you kind of realized, this is actually, it became more adult as well. You kind of were allowed, your family were like all having a go, and you were like, suddenly it was kind of, gaming was less of a nerd kind of geeky kind of thing. It was like, you're playing with Formula 1 cars. That's kind of slick, isn't it? That kind of idea. And then Colin McRae around the same time.
Yes, I remember that.
I think there's always been a thing with me. I love football. I'm a big football fan, and definitely the FIFA games, the PES, ISS Pro, and all those games.
The ISS.
Have always been in there. I think if you're going up again, then probably PlayStation 2 or Xbox or whatever, those kind of that era, I would say you can't really like forget, or for me anyway, you can't really underestimate the amount of relevance like the Grand Theft Auto series had on gaming. Like, even just from the idea of sandboxes being this fun kind of thing that people, whatever, they were kind of, to me, like, wow, like this is like, just your brain just exploded about the possibilities of what you can do in a game, and beyond just trying to level up, or beyond trying to finish a level, or get past a boss. It was just like, I can actually just be in this game and listen to the radio and drive around and cruise. And that was a huge kind of thing, I think, with Grand Theft Auto. Even the first Grand Theft Auto was like the top down ones. Were kind of they kind of had that same feel. I don't know how they managed to do that, but it was certainly like even though you'd be going to a new city or a new part of the city would unlock, and you're like, oh wow, this is like open-ended possibilities. And then probably going up to the next generation from me, I would say Xbox 360. I would say, because I played a lot of that. I'd say Gears of War was a phenomenal game. I just think the first Gears of War was a landmark game for so many genres. Like, it opened its own genre for me. Like, the cover shooter was, third person cover shooter was spawned because of it. The epic style of storytelling, like the way it did it, it was I don't think I'd seen anything like it up to then on a console anyway. Alan Wake in 2010 by Remedy was probably in my top 5 all-time games. Like, just of any genre or any era, storytelling, graphics, everything. It just has everything for me. The game itself is, people might argue that the mechanics are a bit monotonous or repetitive, but I just play that. I play that game at least once a year, even now, just fully go through it, because I just love the world. I love the story. I love the idea, and it's well crafted. I think Remedy are probably they're in my top 4 or 5 developers. They're just so good. Just everything they do, they're like Naughty Dog. You just know when they put something out, it's going to be stable.
It's going to be good,
and it's going to be good. And then we kind of come up to nowadays. I mean, Skyrim probably after that was just a whole new level of depth, like world building sandbox games, but with lots to do and still having that open-ended thing as well. So it's like huge thing for me. And then leading on to probably No Man's Sky and Elite and all these games that are still doing it,
They're amazing.
But I think No Man's Sky is like, again, it's one of those moments where I don't think people will realise how much of a benchmark it is until 10 or 20 years pass, and we look back and go, wow. And it might even be that they're the guys still developing No Man's Sky or a version of it in 20 years time, like Elite, kind of when Elite was formed in 83, and now look at Elite now. Elite is a fantastic game. They're so different, even though they're both set in a spatial kind of environment. They're both such a different.
The idea, the concept behind it is fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And you can kind of tell that Dave Braddon has kind of really kind of embraced every generational jump. He's kind of his core game is still the same generally, but how it looks, how it feels is a lot more realistic, and they're great games. And I think that's something that No Man's Sky will probably spawn, whether it'll be Hello Games in it or someone else, or even it might even be in the same genre. But I think procedural kind of technology that they embrace, they certainly didn't invent procedural technology, but the things that they've done with it, I think, will become core to a lot of games in the future.
It's kind of endless in a way. If even now, if you just keep playing it until you die, you will not be able to
absolutely, yeah. I think that's the thing. I mean, you see, I stream that game so much, and even still, surprises me. There's things you'll find and it'll just blow your mind. Or some days it's just completely a mind chill where you're just happy just to for the monotony to be the same or whatever. It's just this kind of place where you can just have a good time and just chill out, completely chill out. It's weird. It's kind of like Minecraft in that way. Minecraft has that kind of people would say, well, you're just breaking down boxes and building more boxes, and it's like, yeah, but that's
all different.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing if your brain learns. If you're able to switch off and just go to another place, it's a really healthy thing, I think. But anyway, that's
true. I totally agree. Yeah, that's great. And I mean, with all this list that you were giving now, with so many amazing games, and I know that right now you're playing No Man's Sky. Would you say that that's your favorite game at the moment, No Man's Sky? And if it's another, if you recommend gamers to give it a try and somehow why?
I would say, I'd say people should buy it or at least try it if they like games that don't necessarily tell you everything, or if you like a game that allows you to kind of express yourself within the game, and be whatever you want to be in the game, be it ignore the storyline and just go like walking around killing animals or just taking pictures. If you like games like that, then definitely. Otherwise, if you're looking for Destiny, which is a great game, I really enjoyed Destiny. The first one was fantastic. But if you're looking for that kind of first-person shooter, space kind of opera kind of thing, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get No Man's Sky, and it doesn't even try to do that. So, but I really do like No Man's Sky. But I play a lot of games. I mean, too many games. I mean, it's probably to the point. I remember you telling you before, I had like something like 200. I think it's like 286 games I counted the other day.
Wow.
Just for PS4, and I was looking at my collection because I still got a couple of other I still got my Xbox, my PS2, PS1. I got my original Game Boy, and I think all in all I've got over 1,000 games still around the house.
Wow.
So, and I'm kind of going. Yeah, and I'm kind of going, when am I ever going to play these? But I can't bring myself to get rid of the physical discs, the FAT discs. I'm like, my wife convinced me a few months back to get rid of the boxes and at least put them into CD wallets and keep the booklets. And I was like, okay, this is killing me, but I'll do it because the space. It is actually nice.
Yeah.
But part of me, I kept a few. I kept my box from my original Metal Gear Solid, from 1998. I still have that, and it still has that new game smell.
Cool. Yeah, you open.
I still take the booklet out every so often, and I get that.
Just to smell it.
That was the first video game I ever pre-ordered, actually, back in 1998 or 1999.
That's so cool.
It was I mean, there's a genre in its own that you could, or even a game on its own that just literally I completely forgot to even mention. But that's Metal Gear is like, even from the 80s, was so good.
It's a very solid series that through time just kept evolving in the best way possible, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I think the last version of it is a phenomenal game, like phenomenal. The mechanics are so good, but the story is just absolute pants. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like I love Hideo Kojima, or whatever. I love the way he writes. But I think the game is so good. It's so good. But when you get to the point where it's like they ran out of money. And they just kind of gave up and just said, okay, you get to these missions without any spoilers. We're going to repeat the first few missions and just up them a level. And you're like, okay, that's just kind of not good, really. But a great game, one of the best of this generation, without a doubt.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like a reference, I think, in video game history. So. Yeah. You were talking about buying and now with Metal Gear it was the first game that you pre-ordered and everything. So when you think about buying a game, is there anything that holds you back when it's something that you really like?
Yeah, generally if it's a dangerous thing having your account or PayPal account linked to anything that buys games. That's what I would say. Just disconnect it if you have it. Because
it's a good tip.
Yeah, when it's late at night, it's very easy to press purchase. So easy. But no, I would say yeah, most of the time it's just economics. If I have the money, I love buying the games. Firstly, because I think it's really important to support developers of any size, regardless if they're indie or big or whatever. Because if you want to continue to enjoy the medium that you enjoy, then you have to support it and put your money where your mouth is. And I don't think whether you decide to sit it out and wait 6 months or 4 months for it to go on the sale, that's also a very valid way of doing it. And there's certain games that I would do that where I don't really necessarily have to have it straight away. If it's a single player experience, my general rule is I'll sit on it for about 2 months, unless I have to play it. Unless it's like a game like No Man's Sky, where I pre-ordered it. So but some of them I'm like, look, I don't mind. I'll definitely, like, there's a game where you love it. I've played it as well. Was Middle Earth: The Shadow Mortar.
So good.
Great game.
Good, that game. Amazing.
I'm probably going to wait till Christmas, because it's kind of the perfect game for Christmas when you don't have to be online. You can just play it offline and press pause, talk to your family for a few minutes, and then go back and play it. And,
that's a good one. I have to think about that. Yeah, it's cool.
There's a really lovely game that I'm kind of playing at the moment that I got in a sale, like a digital sale. Like, I love PlayStation to do great things for, like, people always complain about the cost of digital games or things, but
they're so cheap nowadays.
They're so cheap. Yeah, games are like, you could, if you just wait, if you like a game, give it a month, it's going to be on sale. You're going to get it for half price or something.
Exactly.
But there's a game I got for, I think it was $1.99, called On Epic, and it's cross-buy for Vita and for PS4, and it's cross-save, and it's just one of the best. I hate saying little because it sounds condescending towards the developer, but it's one of the best dungeon crawlers I played in a long time. It's so much fun.
Oh, that's great.
It's like,
that's right.
Yeah, it's a really cool game. You'd love it if you like those kind of Dungeons and Dragons kind of side-scroller games. Yeah. Very cool.
Oh, that's a good one. I have to give
very funny as well. It's very well written. The storyline doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's fun. It's very fun.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, if you have fun, that's the purpose in a way.
Absolutely.
It's also about plenty of genres of games. Like, if we can go genre here, let's say like sci-fi, FPS, RPGs, platforms, sports, whatever. What's the style that attracts you the most, and the one you could live without just fine?
Well, let me see. It's pretty hard. I mean, I'm one of the. I'm probably like a typical gamer. Like, I mean, you're probably the same as me. You probably enjoy every genre. I mean, my wife always slags me. My wife slags me because she'd always say you literally play anything. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is. If it's a game, you'll play it. And I'm like, yeah, it is, and it is true. I think it's like music. I think they're very similar. It depends on your mood. There's times when you'll just want to play like something like Super Meat Boy because you want just a 10-minute fix. So you just want to go, just give me that little, just a couple of levels of that, and then you're happy out. You're back to normal. There's days when you just want to play an FPS like Call of Duty or Battlefield or Battlefront or whatever, and you're kind of, and again, it's a frame of mind. I don't know. I don't think I could live without any genre, to be honest. I just love them. I love them all. Probably the least one I care about is probably mobile gaming. Like, anything on a mobile platform, it doesn't really appeal to me. You know what I mean? And even in saying that, there are a few that are very good, but it just, that whole medium doesn't really connect with me as much as everything on a console or PC or Mac or whatever. There's something, it just lacks a little bit of depth, but I think it's really cool that people love it, and it is such a big part of gaming nowadays, so mobile phones.
Yeah, true.
But I hope that kind of answers your question in a roundabout way.
Yeah, sure. No, I totally get you, because as you said, I'm pretty much the same. There's like one or two things that I don't go too much, but I mean, everything else. And it's totally true. It depends on the mood. Or sometimes you just have like a little bit of time, and you think, no, I cannot play Diablo now because it will take me 2 hours. I will just go for something short, and
exactly. And you go, I'll play a quick game of FIFA, and then it turns into an hour later, and you're like, just wait till I see if I can sign him. If I just sign him, it'll be great. It'll be all good. I'll get him to sign.
Yeah, it's really it's so true. And you are a professional musician.
Yeah.
As a gamer, is the game soundtrack something that catches your attention right away? Does it have a big influence when you are rating a game?
It the sound in general does, like if the sound quality, like, so if the even the sound effects and the general sound in the world, if it's good, that really does affect me. I kind of pick up on that and I'd be very excited by it if it's good. But I think that's just something that most people would be looking for, regardless of being a musician or someone who records sound or anything. I do remember, like, I think it was Alan Wake. I think that game, just the soundtrack is probably one of the finest soundtracks for video games, in any year or any time. It's just so good. There's a part where I think it's the end of episode 1, I might be wrong now, where it's, have you played the game? It's kind of episodic.
Which one?
Alan Wake.
No.
Oh, I would highly recommend it if you get a chance to play it. It's done in like in episodes. So at the end of it, it's done like like a TV series. So at the end of episodes, the credits roll and it just rolls. I think it's Roy Orbison singing "In Dreams," and it's just the most poignant like connection with music and video game and story, and it's super immersive, and definitely sucked me into that world. And I was like, I need more of this, please. More, please.
You already listed so many games. I want to try a lot now since we started to talk, because you mentioned so many that I never tried. Some I heard of, others not so much. But definitely too much things.
The thing about Alan Wake, I think I don't think it's on sale anymore on Steam. I think back in May it was taken off the store, and I think it was selling for like €1 or something like that, €2. But you could find it, like you definitely find it in GameStop for for Xbox or something, or for PC. It's a great game though. If you like,
I will check it for sure. Yeah.
If you like Twin Peaks, or anything like that, or anything kind of a little bit twisted, but not creepy, but just kind of interesting. It's like that.
For sure. Thanks. Now, if we switch a little bit topic, going to YouTube. We can say that in your YouTube reality, it's fair to say that you're a streamer. Have you considered doing gaming videos like walkthroughs, miniseries, reviews, or stuff like that?
Yeah, I think when I set up the channel originally, that's what I was trying to do. And I think as it kind of moved along, I realized just how easy it was to stream directly from my PS4, and that kind of took over. And then I actually really enjoyed the interaction that you have while streaming, more than making videos. I use Mac a lot for recording, so my Mac wouldn't. It's different. I probably could edit videos on it because of with iMovies and stuff, but I don't really trying to swap over videos captured from the PS4, which you can do. It just seemed a little long-winded, and I was kind of not really interested in doing it on the PS4, so I just kind of ultimately just enjoyed streaming. It was more immediate, and you kind of have that connection with the audience straight away.
True. It's completely different. It's two different things, totally, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of nice. You can keep your streams there as a record if people want to find something from it, or if ever, it's kind of nice. You can go back and re-edit one of them if you really, really care.
Yeah, but, I do that sometimes, yeah.
Yes, I might get into it in the next while. Like, there's a few things that I would see that I want to kind of do on the channel, and on a different channel that I've just set up for completely. It's all related to No Man's Sky. It's a channel called Beleri 5 FM.
All right.
And it's the idea is that it's a radio station set on Beleri 5. Because do you remember when No Man's Sky originally, in all the trailers, there was different planets, and one of them was called Beleri 5. So the whole idea is that this is like a radio station from Beleri 5.
That's a great idea.
And there'll be like little, once a month maybe, actual content made that's specifically like done in a radio station style, with little ads. Other content creators who are part of No Man's Sky's community have kind of said they'll create some things on it as DJs for the station.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then we'll put them together as like a monthly kind of thing, a very short thing, maybe 20 minutes, but there'll be like little ads for certain economies. Systems might be up, so we'll just say, done them in sound bites, but they sound like it's part of a radio station. Or someone says this planet is a great place to go on for a trip, holidays, or
wow, that would be really, really cool.
Those kind of things. But then
I love the idea.
Yeah, that's something that if I'm going to get into content making, that'll be where it's kind of mostly going out, because really, like, No Man's Sky is probably the biggest thing that I play. I love every game, but it's definitely the one I have a huge amount of time for. I think it's just a great game, great world, great universe, and to be honest, one of the best communities of people, that are involved in it.
Yeah, true. I think I can say that somehow I came back to No Man's Sky a little bit because of you.
Oh, fun.
Because one day I bought the game when I pre-ordered it. So this edition that is here.
Same edition as me as well.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then I started, and I was completely excited to go and try and see how this game would feel. I didn't get disappointed like most people I think did. I don't know why. But then what made me stop playing it was because I felt a bit lost and not know what to do. So at the time I didn't have too much time to play, so I just left it aside for a bit. And then one day I was just looking for it again, and I found your stream, and then we started to talk.
That's right. It was a good day.
And then, that was the day when I started to go back to No Man's Sky. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. It's funny because when I decided to start streaming daily, it was kind of for that reason. I just wanted I wanted people to give it a chance again. I kind of felt, I don't necessarily believe, by the way, that the game or the developers don't deserve some sort of criticism for the way it was launched, but I think a lot of it was just, a lot of it was over the top. I mean, there's constructive criticism, and say when it was released, it was just from a point of technical stuff, it was really unstable. They fixed it within about 3-4 weeks. Just it kept crashing a lot. Whether you want to get into details of what content was excluded or whatever, that's a whole other argument. But I just kind of thought like the game itself and the company kind of deserved a little bit of a someone kind of shone a little bit of a light on it, kind of saying, look, this is it. All I was doing was playing the game. I wasn't trying to promote it. I wasn't saying come buy the game. I just I'll play it every day, and if people see it, then hopefully they'll give it a go again. That was the whole point of it. And you're probably the first person to kind of say that to me. And then since then, there's been countless people who've kind of went, I've got the game again, or I bought the game because I watched your stream, and it's kind of nice that that's the reason or the catalyst. It's definitely been a cool payoff for.
True.
We're just playing a game and having fun.
Yeah, that's what we want, I think.
Yeah,
exactly. Inspire somehow people to go and give it a try at least.
Exactly.
So from your experience, is there any tip you would give to streamers that are starting now?
Don't have a child in the background trying to sleep, because this is probably the loudest you've probably ever heard me speak, I think, as well. And even now I'm kind of slightly muted because she's asleep. No, I would say just be yourself, have fun. Don't be thinking about it from a monetization kind of thing. Forget all that rubbish. Get that, pointless stuff out of your head. It doesn't, there's a very few people who can make money out of streaming, and even they find it difficult. Go into it trying to have fun, and remember that's the main thing I would say. Just have fun, just because it's, at the end of the day, you're just playing video games, chatting to people online, and think of it as like, I kind of like to think of it as, it's like I'm in my friend's house again when I was 12, but you guys are all like my mates that are coming around to watch me play, and we can just talk about it, and maybe you'll say, oh, did you try this? And I'm like, I did not think of that. And then suddenly you're back in that zone again when you were 12, kind of going, I found a secret level, or I found another way,
Yeah, it's a sort of hangout with
exactly.
people in a way. It's different, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Definitely look at it as just a fun thing. It's certainly, I wouldn't be making it a life choice of how to make money. It's certainly not. It's not. Maybe there'll be one or two people who'll do that, but fair play. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No problem.
All right. Tibit, thank you so much for being here and sharing your gaming experiences with everyone. And I hope you keep going with your streams so everyone can enjoy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to even to ask me. It's been kind of a lot of fun to remind myself of the games that I actually forgot that I liked it. Because this generation has just been countless game after game. Every week there's a fantastic game coming out. So it's great. It's been really, really good fun. And thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Okay, man. Cheers. See you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Take care. And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for watching our IVIEWs with Captain 2-Bit. If you wish to connect with him, in the description of the video you will be able to find his YouTube channel, his Twitter account, so you can connect with him, and also his band's webpage and listen to his amazing music. He's a pro musician, as we spoke during the interview. If you like this video, remember to throw us a like, smash that bell button so you can get notified whenever we upload new content, whenever we start a new stream, and connect with us, increasing our community. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys really soon. Take care.